This was a video idea I'd meant to tackle some 6 months ago, or wheneverabouts I did the one on male and female fantasy. But no matter how many times I tried or how long I meditated, I just couldn't seem to get a firm enough handle to pull a coherent script together. And now I think I'm ready to finally rid my mental garden of this demon-infested mountain of a molehill. But before I can get to that, I need to quickly explain the difference between the form of magic most commonly spelled with a C and that which I've spelled with a CK in the title. In short, the former is the absurd concept of a causal phenomena, i.e., effects arising spontaneously without causes or from non-local causes, meaning causes that have no tangible link to the effect they supposedly produced. Things like daubing goat's blood on a doorpost to ward off diseases, drawing a funny shape in the dirt to make the rain come, or hoping the groundhog doesn't see his shadow so the snow will melt faster. Meanwhile, magic with a K is what Anton LaVey described as psychodrama, a meta-story or ritual intended to induce a specific psychological effect in the practitioner. Things such as meditation, therapy, comedy, even gameplay and consuming fiction of any form are all forms of what LaVey referred to as lesser magic. These are rituals intended to put you into a specific state or frame of mind. Basically, the former is like the practice of alchemy turning lead into gold, while the latter is the psychological aspect of alchemy seeking transcendent enlightenment through a periodic cycle of personal death and rebirth. A reference I mention as this is the avenue from which I've chosen to approach this subject. In essence, my thesis is that, as our understanding of the mechanics of reality has advanced, our previous ideas of how to court and wield influence over them have been systematically discarded. This, I've noticed, seems to go in the order of men, not so much handing off as just leaving for the use of women those obsolete systems of enlightened control once believed to hold practical potency. For an easy example, take astrology. Once upon a time, it was thought by many a worldly scholar that the patterns of the stars held the secret code to reality, which, once unlocked, could enable the enlightened elites who probed it to not only prophesize future events, but to divine the position and nature of everything present in accordance with its divine parallel. Funnily enough, this was actually the reason why the Christian church banned its practice, as the fatalistic view it represented clashed with their whole ethos of free will. The same is why most still wholly reject the notion of Darwinian evolution. But that's a whole other rant for a different time. For right now, once the idea of a divine roadmap written in the sky was proven false, men largely abandoned its study and practice, leaving it to one day largely become the domain of flighty women as a means of cataloging and justifying their erratic emotionalism. Although I'll freely admit that this is more of a generic trend, not a hard and fast rule, some other examples include the sea magic practices of the pagans being transformed into as much spiritualistic goop by the Wiccans, alchemy being reduced to the nondescript word salad of theogony by the 19th century bourgeois elitists, and even the mainline Abrahamic rituals like Mass, baptism, prayer, and so on becoming little more than cynical money-milking devices for industrialized religious institutions and cultural factory farms. Basically, once the practical utility of these practices is discovered to be nil, they become the CK magic instruments of psychodramatic war games, in which women are profoundly superior to men. And once these games are revealed to be nothing more than a new weapon in an intersexual and intrasexual armory, they get renounced as either sinful or stupid or both, and onward the wheel spins. Old or outmoded ideas become the subjects for new cultural memes, egregores, superstitions, and ideologies. The intellect feeds the intuition, which then burns in emotional fire to fuel the onset of new progress. The old withers and burns so that the ashes can fertilize and kindle the new. Again, while I'm well aware that, in practice, this isn't so foolproof or lawful a pattern as I'm making it out to be, the general trend is what I wanted to bring to light. And of course, the opposite is true also, in keeping with the psychical nature of the yin-yang. The dark, feminine, intuitive portion, representing chaos in all its forms, produces myriad notions and hurls them at the white, masculine intellect, whose role is then to decipher an orderly path through the contradictory brambles. But this invariably leads to conflict, as many will prefer the path not chosen, or will say they do out of jealous spite or as a bid to usurp the order's power for themselves. Either way, the cycle continues. Certain order begetting uncertain bedlam, begetting confident rule, begetting chaotic rapture, etc. But in any event, that's all just my interpretative map of this metaphysical forest. Much like in part 1, this was all just a random thought I had and wanted to get a barometric check on it to see if I'm really onto something or just reading too deep into the cloud shapes again. So let me know what you think down below. And of course, feel free to like, subscribe, join up as a member, or check out my books over on Amazon while you're down there. And until next time, as always, stay safe, stay sane, and remember, you can never think too much. You can only think badly. Peace be upon you.